Nadine, you've just seen this sea urchin sort of go from orange to yellow, sort of creep up. It doesn't glow, but it's definitely brighter than before. And your father sort of leans over the sea. He's like, "See, do you see what I mean?
Yes, completely different. It's wonderful.
I didn't know until I took it out of the water. I thought I was picking you one of these."
Oh, I think I'm going to put this in the fountain in the back part of the greenhouse.
Oh, okay. No, well, I'm going to keep getting dinner ready because I smell something burning. So I'm going to go check that. Also, I think you left a window open in your greenhouse. There's, I didn't know you got a little companion whilst I was away.
No, I always keep windows closed this time of year because it starts to get cooler at night.
Okay, well then if these things start getting opposable thumbs, you're going to want to worry.
You go get burning thing. I'm going to check out and see what you're talking about.
Okay. And he sort of, you can hear as you leave, just like, oh god, it's like hear like a bang is sort of tipping stuff out into the bin. But you can head into your greenhouse and you can see where Charlie has left it perfect from taking care of everything and watering everything. Everything has been checked, and if anything, it looks like some of it's been tidied the tiniest bit. But there is one pot that's been knocked over and there is dirt strewn across the side. And there is a very, very small little ginger kitten asleep in the corner of this greenhouse where it's come in, probably from the temperature change. And it's sort of snuggled down amongst the tomatoes. I'm going to say it, courgettes.
Because I can't remember the word courgettes.
But you just see this little fluffy ginger kitten sort of going up and down as you move the pot it sort of stretches out and blinks up at you. And then just closes its eyes again. It doesn't seem bothered by you being here at all.
Oh my god. Hello, little one. You were not here when I left. And I'll like slowly, like I'll set the urchin shell on one of the little potting shelves and like slowly just kneel down and like very easy, calm movements. Hi, little one. You're sleeping oh so nice. I'm going to pick you up because you're cute and fluffy. And like
you can sort of scoop this cat up. As you do, both the arms and the legs sort of stretch out as this kitten, I should say, lets you pick it up. All the limbs stretched and just very, very sleepily as you pick them up, sort of nuzzles into your shoulder and falls straight back asleep.
Okay, yeah, right, you can stay. Definitely you're going to stay, and I'll like scratch the head and like cuddle it up, and I'm going to carry it back into the house where it's warmer.
Your father walks past and he's like, "I'm ordering takeout, what do you want?" And looks over at this small ginger kitten. It's like, that's the thing I saw in the green. I didn't go in there. I didn't touch anything. I'm just saying. That's what
I know. But this is new. This is not something I left behind. I think it was just looking for a place to stay. Can it stay?
And he sort of not rolls his eyes. It's like a smile and rolls his eyes. He's like, I know even if I said no, you and Prim would somehow work it into the house.
Well, maybe yes to that, but I mean, and like I'll pick it up carefully and turn around. Look, it's so cute and small.
You're feeding it and you're cleaning up after it.
Okay, I mean, I'd have to anyways because you're not home a lot. So, hey, look, it keeps me company. Look at that way. I won't be alone in the house.
Oh, and he looks over to poor Prima and sort of gives a little wave over to Prima.
Oh, Prima likes the animals too.
I know, just thought you already had company.
Well, I have company with him. I mean, like, further company beyond, just the two of us. Something to spice it up and change it up a little bit.
Pearl, it's fine. You can keep the kitty cat or whatever it is. Now, what do you want to eat? Because I am hungry.
Let's just do some noodles. That good?
Yep, I will go and order those now. And he sort of disappears off to the side, pulls out one of those drawers, the ones that has piles and piles of random menus in there. He never cooks, or if he does, you normally end up ordering takeout. So he pulls it out and starts. He opens the phone and starts making an order.
Don't forget to get something with fish in it too.
Like, I'm not buying it good fish.
No, I mean, I just said, I'd like something with fish, please. For myself, totally.
And he sort of squints at you. It's like, oh, I was such a bad liar. Oh. And he sort of starts to, yes, I'd make it 2 portions of the fish. Yes, thank you. And soon the food is ordered. And your father comes to sit back down at the table. So, I know I said I won't be here for too long, but I will be back. I'm only going up to, the journey there is longer, but I'm not staying for long. Not as long as I did on the Summer Isles.
Okay, well, that's good to know that it's not a very long journey for you, and then I'll know better when to expect you when you come home.
And who knows what little gifts I will bring back for you from the Red Wolf Island.
Well, I mean, they're always fun to see because you find really cool things.
I do. I always try and find the best for my little girl.
I know you do, Papa. I'm glad you're back.
And he smiles. What are you calling that hairball then?
Probably need to figure out if boy or girl, don't they?
Well, I'm not doing that. I don't know how to do that.
Well, I mean, it's pretty straightforward, but okay.
No, but I get scratched every time. I stay at sea for a reason.
Alright, well, I just get to put it on its back and kind of, look at its tummy up.
Do you want it to be a boy or a girl?
Make it girl. So I'll turn the kitten over and kind of scratch its tummy. And then just very carefully. Okay. He's a girl.
Then what are you going to call it?
Oh, that's a good question. Well, she looked like she made herself a little thrown out of the pot, like a queen. So, Regina, maybe.
What's a good name?
Yeah.
It's a very good name, a strong name.
Yeah, and then I can call her Gina for short, or Jeannie, or, there's lots of cute nicknames I can put around it. Probably not Reggie, though, that might confuse people.
And he just sort of looks from say he doesn't really know. He's not very good with these sorts of conversations. But where did you get that? And he sort of points to the pearl necklace that you're wearing.
Oh, I got from Prim.
Did you now?
Yeah. I was surprised. I forgot I had it on. It's so light.
Yes. Do you know where Prim got it?
No, I did not ask. I thought it was rude to say where you purchase gifts when you're giving gifts.
No, you're right. That's a good thing. You don't ask her that.
Yes.
Just very.
Maybe Yeah, maybe. I'll oh jeez, I should probably put this someplace safe because kittens, they like to play with things, especially.
No. No, wear it. It's nice.
You sure?
Yes, wear it.
Okay.
It's good for you to wear it, especially whilst I'm away.
Alright, I'll make sure to wear it then if you want me to.
Every day. And it suits you, so...
Okay, I wear it every day. I'm glad you like it. I like it too.
Okay. Now, food should be here soon. But what have you been up to since I've been away? I hear there is a lot going on in Karnan, things I did not expect, things I'm not too sure about leaving you here with. And there's apparently an announcement this afternoon by the season tree, so...
An announcement?
Yes, it's coming from the church. I don't really know. I've literally just walked in through the door.
Have you heard anything about the happenings in town?
I have heard of the trams.
Oh yeah, that was a little scary.
You weren't near any of them, were you?
Not close enough to be hurt. But I did see one go down nearby.
Okay. It is important for you to be safe, Nadi.
I know, Papa. I am making new friends, so I've been going into town and meeting with them, and went to the night market with them, which was a lot of fun. And
you went to the night market?
Yeah, that was really interesting.
And you made friends?
Yes, I'm making friends. It's very nice. One actually helped me with the greenhouse, Charlie. She's very good with plants too.
Oh, have they been here?
Well, yeah, I would think so. I mean, she's very good about making sure everything's in its place and nothing looked like it was disturbed and the plants looked happy and healthy.
Wait, they were here when you weren't?
Well, yeah, I gave her a key to the greenhouse. I mean, someone has to come in and help with the plants when I'm not here.
Were they here when I was here? And he suddenly realizes how unobservant he is.
I can find out if you really want to know.
No, it doesn't matter. I am glad you are making friends.
Me too. Maybe when you get back, you'll have time to meet some of them, and maybe I can take you to Brew and Bindings. They have very good tea and coffee. I know how you like your coffee.
Gosh, I've not been there since it was... Oh, what was that name? Castachino's. I've not been there since it was called that.
Wait, you know the place I'm talking about?
Well, yes, not as Brew and Bindings, but...
Oh. That's kind of cool then that we end up at the same place.
I guess. He just tries to smile and nod and look as enthusiastic as you. You know, out of the parents, he probably wasn't the most enthusiastic one.
You didn't have to be because it was Nadi.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so we'll go check it out. You can see maybe how it's changed and check out what the Eric has for coffee.
Well, how about we eat noodles, we settle down, and then maybe later we go to cast the Brew and Bindings, whatever it's called.
Yeah, that sounds good, and I can get this little one set up. I'll put her up in my room so she doesn't bug you while you're home.
It's okay, just don't bring her with you.
No.
I don't know.
No, they get into too much trouble.
Right. I'm going to go see if the noodles are here. And he sort of stands up and walks over to the door. And we're going to hop over to Charlie. And Charlie, it's sort of the morning for you as well. And you wake up to a sound beneath you in Armand's shop below your apartment. And you can hear sort of a conversation between him and someone else, a very sort of almost professional sounding one. It doesn't sound like someone he necessarily knows. But you also hear the lot of clanking about, moving of terracotta pots before the shop is even open. And you know, this is that part of it is a regular sound for you. You know Armand gets up and changes his mind 4 or 5 times about where things should be placed that day. What do you do as you lie in your new, very secure apartment?
I think I go about my normal morning routine, like some toast and just kind of put it around with tea. But I'm just listening. I figure he'll holler if he needs help, and maybe peek outside the front window, the one that doesn't open, to see if there's anyone or any sign of this person outside.
You can see 2 watchers outside in these brown suits as they stand there talking to Armand. Armand doesn't seem to be fully paying attention, like he's more busy himself with moving crates around, moving pots around. You can see Sam sort of following him, weaving in and out between his legs as he walks. They don't trip each other up at all. They actually seem to work very fluidly as they move together. You can see one of the watchers sort of stepping away from this Inarque every time it gets a little bit too close to them. But otherwise, that is what you see.
I kind of snicker at this nervousness. I think once I finish my tea, I'll just head down, tying on this apron, just see if he needs any help initially. Yeah. Actually, see if anyone spots me before I arrive, really.
Roll a speed check for me, please. Yeah, you, if anything, you're so tired this morning. You sort of stumble down the stairs. Not, first of all, they don't really notice you at first. If anything, it's Sam who notices you, and you see this huge snake that has been right down on the ground rear up and sort of almost reach the top of the flowers that are hanging from the ceiling. Thank you for those subs. Sort of drift and look over towards you. And if a snake could smile, you can see there's almost like a very like dopey smile on its face as it's moving just from side to side. And as it turns back around towards Armand, you see like this watcher sort of lean back around as it moves. And Armand spots you. He's like, Charlie.
Hey.
It's yes, I will. And he's like, they're just leaving. We're trying to set up a shop here. Like, and the watchers sort of back away as Sam makes it very evident that he sort of moves a little bit closer to both of them, and they start to move away. And Armand, almost like you could tell he's more frustrated because he's obviously been held up and he's stacking everything. He's moving it, always trying to bring down the things that he keeps stacked up in the ceiling. All of these flowers that he pulls down and then wheels out. He's like, oh, come on.
Okay. What can I help with?
Just those over there. I can't deal with them anymore. And it's the normal. You know, he gets stressed out in the morning, and you can tell these watchers have probably added to the panic of the morning, even though there's no reason to panic. It's a very slow morning, and he's just like, just can't leave things alone, can they? They just always come in and they always try and talk and ask questions and things like that. Goodness sake. Sorry, Charlie. Good morning.
What about?
They're talking about, they're questioning people about stuff that's going round. Apparently there's been some sightings of these weird shadows or something going around. They're just questioning anyone and everyone. Doesn't matter if we've got to open a shop by a certain time in the morning, or and then they're like, oh, you need to come to the announcement at the season tree. And they can't just say that and leave it. They have to go, are you coming? Are you sure you're coming? And I just, oh, I'm so glad you walked downstairs, because I didn't care. I almost threw a terracotta pot at one of them and they weren't going to leave. Or I was just going to get set Sam on them. One of them didn't seem to like him. Sorry, I'm ranting.
Yeah.
And he sort of actually just stops and plumps down on the chair. Did you sleep well? I saw that kid came by. Also, there's some very fancy new locks. I did not put on your apartment now.
I put in a special order.
You did you? I must be paying you too much. He sort of smiles.
It was a gift.
I figured it's good. I mean, I don't know where a kid gets that sort of thing, but it's good. But I think as much as I'm panicking, it's going to be a slow day today. If you want, you can do a half day. I definitely need you in the morning, but it'll be a slow day. I figure if everyone's going to the season tree announcement, whatever it is, they're not going to be coming around here. Of course they're not. But
maybe on the way back, though.
They could do. The flowers from Valadris are taking seed, though. They're starting to look good. Hopefully I'll have some of the winter ones out in the next month or so. It'll be good. I was going to ask, how are your dads? How's your brother? How have you spoken to them at all recently?
Yeah. Miles says, well, he was in town briefly. He's visiting our dads now. I'm gonna check in with them later, but yeah, it's fine.
Well, anyway, I need to get these plants shifted, and you can tell he feels awkward for asking you those questions now. He's like, huh. So help me open up, will you? And he sort of walks over to the big shutters and starts to unlock some of the locks. And you know this is a two-man job half the time, literally lifting the thing up. And you can both reach down and pull this up. And there's already a few people stood there at the sort of the front of the shop. And they immediately come bustling in. There's some of them you recognize. They never buy anything, but they come in every single time. But it's the same faces, and you can see a few that come in and they buy the flowers, and you can process the payments throughout the day. And after a while, roll me an intellect check, actually. Okay. You see these customers come and go. There's magic users, there's non-magic users. You can see a couple more watchers walking past. They don't stop, but they just keep going. But there's something in your head that tingles slightly, almost like as if you sense something. and it's not within the shop, but it's almost like you can sense it's close by, almost like when sometimes you got the feeling of Tuva's energy and things like that. Almost like a static, like you're static.
Does it feel anything like the weird shadow stuff, like when there was that kind of glitchiness?
Oh, the shadowy sort of creature thingy.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't feel like that. This feels a bit different. This literally feels like the energy maybe coming from Tuva or yourself when you were fighting the shadow creatures, but it doesn't seem to be coming from them.
I have a sense of like direction.
Could you roll another intellect for me, please? Oh, okay. On that, you sort of close your eyes briefly and focus, and you can feel it from outside the shop down to the right, going towards the season tree. It's not nowhere near the season tree, but headed in that direction. It's moving.
Closer or away?
Away.
Actually, I'll glance to Armand and see if he's picked up on anything.
Armand is doing nothing. If anything, he seems to have a few customers. There's that same little old man that comes in every day and never buys anything, but points to every single plant and wants Armand to bring it down to show him, because he might buy it. And you can see Armand getting more and more just sort of like the brow is tensing.
I'm so curious. Mostly just like in looking around, seeing if anyone else has reacted in some way. I'll even look to Alice.
No one is reacting. No one seems to notice this at all. Al, however, you notice his tail is just curling up and down, almost like he's not agitated. Again, probably very much like you, reflecting that you're curious on what this is. But he definitely picks up on it.
What time is it?
It's coming up to sort of 1 p.m. You've sort of been in the shop all day. It's not been a massive flow of customers. It's more those customers that don't leave more than anything else.
I'm gonna grab one of the newer flowers, one of the really like dazzling kind of ones, and just gonna bring it down, and walk up to this older guy and just be like, "Have you seen these? Our new additions? They're really, really something."
And he's like, oh, and sort of like moves away from Armand immediately and sort of like bends down on the counter to look at this plant. And again, like, you've lost him to this now.
I just kind of look over at Armand and just like, "Had a good time?"
Oh, if you want to head off, yeah, that's fine. I mean, all I've got is sort of points down at the old guy. He's going to be here for ages. And he sort of pauses just before you guys and mouths the word sort of, is everything all right?
Just want to check on something.
Okay.
I'll probably go to the announcement or whatever it is.
Okay, I'll see you in a bit. And he's sort of like, yes, if you could just look at this one a little bit closer. And he sort of turns over to this old man who is now fascinated with this rare Villadrus plant.
The underside of the leaves are pink, but the top is yellow and
like
green.
literally lifting them all up to distract him.
Alright, I'm gonna head upstairs and change into more normal street clothes and bringing this mask along that Tuva gave me. And pull on the jacket. And after I head out, I'm just gonna wave to Armin and once I kind of get around a corner, I'm gonna put this mask on and change the appearance.
What do you now look like?
I think got longer, darker hair that's just like up in kind of a ponytail, like very messy kind of big poofy ponytail, and have more like sporty clothes, or kind of like equivalent of like workout clothes, and scarf, but nothing really flashy, just different. And it's like you would totally see someone like this either jogging down the canal streets or anywhere really. And I'm gonna see if this actually changes any kind of attention. Like if this gives me the same feeling of disinterest, I suppose, that my kind of unnoticeable charm does. At least just gauging in other people.
Okay. As you start to walk, are you walking in the direction of where you can sense this thing? Okay. You're walking in that direction and you effectively blend in. People don't tend to notice you. There's nothing that sticks out. There's nothing. The most people do is have a passing glance at you, but that's it, almost like you would with people in the street. And as you walk more and more in this direction, that static, it's like it gets louder and more regular. And up ahead, you see, just turning the corner, a very quick flick of a tail of a huge cat in Archway walking around the side of the corner into one of the alleys. And you recognize the color.
I don't like halt, but I am gonna take sort of a pretend I almost like forgot something and go a different way. Not back the way I came exactly, but just a different route.
You can keep walking and walk past because they went down where they're not still walking. So you can do that, or there are other alleyways as well.
I think I will go past then, but keep a lot of people between me and this alley. Because I'm I'm picturing a rather busy thoroughfare, and it's midday, kind of lunchtime. But now I'm keeping an eye out for anyone watching, and this is when I'm going to start up that little charm.
Mm-hmm. Can you also roll me an intellect check, please?
Yeah.
Okay. You manage to walk almost in a straightforward line past this, or at least towards and past this alleyway, and you don't get the feeling there is anyone watching you. You don't get the feeling that you're being followed, and you don't even get the feeling that there's anyone else around, if you see what I mean. Just the normal, everyday. But as you pass that alleyway, you see that very tall man with that flick of blonde hair as he rounds the other corner, that huge cat Inarque stalking round the corner after him.
As I walk a little further away, I'm gonna pull out my phone. I'm gonna call Faust.
Yeah, and the phone rings and rings, and he's like, "Hello, hi, Charlie. I'm really sorry. I meant to call."
No, it's fine. You guys are okay? Made it fine?
I'm on my way back. I'm on my way back now. I'm sort of coming into Karnan in the next hour, so like central Karnan. So, why
Okay.
is everything all right? What's wrong?
No. Well, I was gonna call anyway, but I just saw Siren.
I'm sorry, what?
I saw him.
What? Just out and about doing his shopping? What? Like,
I don't know. I am not really
did he
intending
stop?
to follow him.
Did he stop you? Did he hurt you? What's
No. I don't. Well, I don't know if he knows that I'm here, but I am taking a different direction.
Get away from there as fast as you can.
Yeah, no, that's the plan. I'm like walking towards the season tree.
Yeah.
As I go.
He never leaves the tangle, Charlie.
I know.
Can you get somewhere? Can you get somewhere that's what's that coffee shop you always tell me about? It's always got people in it, or just somewhere, a bar, a shop. Can you get to Aggie?
Well, take mental notes of like the map of where I'm at now versus where Aggie's place is.
It's probably further away than the season tree in Broome by means, but he knows you've mentioned Aggie before, that she was someone you've gone to when he's not in or something.
Yeah. No, I'm gonna keep heading for the season tree and very much mingle.
Yeah, you can see as you arrive at the season tree, again, all of those leaves scattered across the ground, and there are huge crowds drawing, actually, so you can mingle very easily. You can disappear in these crowds very, very quickly, and you see huge banners hanging from the branches of the season tree, red and gold, long flags, long banners with that rising sun sort of embroidered onto the front. You can see ribbons and sort of these beautiful sort of gold and red material tied amongst the tree, almost setting a backdrop for this. Just that it's not a stage, it's like a rising up, just so that there's a little bit of a wooden sort of platform where you can see, which is probably where the announcement's going to be, and you can see that there's lots of watchers in this area. They don't seem to be doing anything. They don't seem to be talking to the people. They seem to be setting things up. They seem to be standing around. But there's just so many people here. There's so many magic users. There's so many. You recognize some people that you've seen in Brew and Bindings, and just from being around in the streets and watching, you just see them. And you can see Tuva pretty close to the front with her hands crossed, just looking up at these things with Brenna, this red panda sort of almost mimicking her, sat on her shoulders.
Do I feel that static still?
It doesn't feel like it's followed you.
Okay.
You literally feel as though you walked past it.
So, like, picturing locking the doors tighter in your mind. And I'd like to get somewhere that I can have more of like an overview rather than be in the middle of the crowd, now that I don't feel like I need to lose a tail as much.
You can see, like, in fact, you can see the buildings that you chased Tuva on, and they're quite high up, and you actually see her making her way from them up towards the roof area, almost like she's probably had a similar idea to you. She hasn't got her mask on. She looks like Tuva, and she's actually marching quite just prominently. No one looks at this kid because it's a kid. And that's, if anything, her best disguise as she marches through this crowd. And you see her hopping up from one roof to the next, getting higher and higher. And you can do the same. Would you do the same as hers, or would you go on a different one?
I think a different one.
Okay.
I want to know where the.
You want to do it on the opposite side of where she is, like she's on one side and you be on the other. Okay. Yeah, you can.
Yeah, or like a corner or something like that.
Yeah, you can easily do that. You've done this so many times before. Just roll me a speed check to see how stealthily you do this. You start heading over to one of the bits you've climbed many a time. And as you do, two watchers walk past. Excuse me, what are you doing?
This is exercise. Yeah.
Well, can you go do it somewhere else? We're setting up for today.
Okay. Hop down and walk very chipperly away.
Yeah, and they both watch you go. In fact, they follow you just to make sure you leave the whole building alone. Like, they just sort of follow you. And they sort of both point at you briefly and just nod for a moment. And then they walk away. Their eyes linger on you until you're out of sight. But they do seem wary that you were trying to climb a building.
Okay. I think I'll try for a less conspicuous starting point. And honestly, just for good measure, use my little far step thing to just at least get the first bit up.
You can get up there. You can at least get up to the first bit to get a good view of this season tree. And you can see Tuva almost crouched on the other side. Well, not even crouched. She's sort of laying down, like sort of peering over the edge, legs in the air, sort of hanging for almost very lazily, just watching the scene. And we're going to hop over to Tolan. So, Tolan, you and Averick, where have you headed? Have you headed straight for Aggie's?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, because we've got the stone and the terrarium with us, so I don't think we want to be lingering. And, hopefully before the sun fully comes up, that we're still have a little bit of cover of darkness and before people start milling around.
You can get there very quickly. And when you get there, as soon as you sort of come in sight of this shop, you see Jeremy and Jemima starting to go a bit crazy at the window, sort of, as they see you both, and they see Clyde, and you see them sort of puff up a little bit. But they head towards the door and start scratching.
Oh, she's awake.
Okay, right, Clyde. And you sort of like, you see Averick sort of doing a to Clyde as he sort of holds onto his collar. Okay, and he just knocks on the door. And there's a pause, and then you see this little old lady sort of half quickly shuffle towards the door and open it. It's like, oh, breakfast?
Yes.
Come on then. And she sort of turns around and shuffles in further.
He goes in and turns and makes sure he locks the door behind him.
You can lock the door. You've got the two cats sort of jumping up at you. They sort of hide behind you as Clyde walks in, and Averick just pulls them into the room to the other side.
Go along. Come on, Jeremy. Jemima. Come on. Aggie, as I'm sure she's already headed straight, beeline.
She turns around like, tea?
Where did you... Yes.
Okay, there we go. And sort of starts handing it out. It's like, well, sit down. You're making me feel nervous.
I'm worried we might need to be nervous.
Why?
Averick here was taken in front of the Seekers yesterday.
Oh, you poor thing. And sort of looks over at Averick and walks over, grabs his face, and is like moving it about. And is like, well, you look perfectly healthy enough. What do they ask you about? And Averick sort of relays everything. He doesn't mention them asking about her, though.
There was a bit more.
What, like what? Should I eat your biscuit?
Yes, ma'am. Round sort of biscuit in his mouth. Toland, who is, slept in the cellar, or actually didn't sleep at all in the cellar, has been up all night again. So about normal for Toland. I don't know what they're at or what they're about, but they were asking questions about the Blight 8 years ago, and they asked about you. And I don't want to pry, and I'm not sure if I even want to know, but I think perhaps us bringing the boy here the other night might have gotten you entangled in whatever this is, this announcement that is coming.
She pauses. She looks like her brow is furrowed briefly, but quickly, almost like she snaps out of it. It's like, now, who would want anything to do with little old me?
He sort of fidgets with Tom's hat that she'd given him because he has it with him. Sort of has kept it in his hand, kind of almost in his lap, and sort of. They asked about Tom.
And you see her straighten up slightly at that.
I might have already made a mistake, as Averick didn't know his name, and now he does, but they were asking about your husband and what his name was.
Well, then they have his name. It doesn't bother me. Lots of people know my husband's name.
I'm worried for you, Aggie. I'm worried for all of us.
Toland, you don't need to be worried about me.
I know you think you don't need to be worried, but the seers have grown in power and the church has grown in such power. They're doing an announcement at the season tree. Have you ever heard of them not doing announcements at the church? Why would they be having an announcement at the season tree.
And she sort of has a bit of a questionable sort of look on her face. I guess it's where everyone goes. Not everyone wants to go to the church. I don't like the church. Huge, stuffy building.
Well, but many of their parishioners don't go to the church either. Or don't go to the season tree either.
Well, if it's an announcement, then I should probably go along and see what's happening.
Well, apparently, with the number of watchers that are out and about, I've got a feeling they're going to be bringing people as well.
Well, if everyone's being invited to this, and I'm sure I'll hear about it sooner or later, they'll probably have a watcher come round or something and deliver a message. You know, they've got to get them to do something other than wander about.
I'm worried that this is all connected.
You always worry it's all connected.
Well, because it usually is.
And she stands and starts, you can see her immediately starting to make breakfast. Like, you can smell the bacon being put into the pan and eggs being cracked. And Averick sits silently as you and Aggie talk. So he's more sort of holding on to Clyde, who's eyeing up Jeremy and Jemima. But Aggie pauses while she's cooking. Things are connected, but at the same time, we don't know what it is. So no need to worry about it now. Worry about it when it happens.
Well, but then I can't plan. I can't be ready for them. If they've somehow tried to connect or know, Aggie, I've been worried that there was a direct link between these shadow people and what happened in my lab 8 years ago.
You can't blame yourself for everything, Tollan.
Oh, no, it's not that events that day are now just unfolding. It's that things that the church shouldn't know about that they do, and are perhaps planning something.
Like what?
Like what happened to me happening to more. Or somehow...
You know you were lucky in that.
I know I was lucky. But it also... I survived. If they think that they aren't killing people, but just controlling what can't be controlled, somehow regulating the flow of magic or something. They've always wanted... What if they want to put a spigot on the season tree?
Well,
Ration out.
Do that because then Karnan would die.
I believe that. You believe that, but I'm not sure if the church believes that. I believe they think they're saving it. I've seen the other cities with dry well springs from before the war.
And she pauses. And after a few minutes during this conversation, you end up having food thrown in front of you. She almost does it absent-mindedly.
Oh, yeah. Tollan begins to eat almost as absent-mindedly, but seems to be more just pushing around his plate. He knows that if he doesn't take a bite every once in a while, she's going to get distracted by him not eating.
Averick is shoveling it in. He's not really.
As he should.
And
she makes delicious breakfast.
And she stays quiet for a while. In fact, this is probably the quietest you've seen Aggie ever. And she said, "You're worried that they're going to bring me in front of the seers, aren't you?"
I'm worried when anyone goes in front of the seers.
Well, I don't know anything about these shadow things, or what it is even you did.
I understand that. I still don't trust what they like to pick around in people's minds and cast their own version of the truth on what they believe they're so clever about.
This, Tolan, is not a situation I can benefit from or win. If they want to talk to me, they're going to talk to me. If I run away, they're going to want to talk to me even more.
Yes, but you can prepare. Just, he sort of looks over at Averick and leans in conspiratorially to Aggie. You can prepare so that you tell the truth.
Tolan, I always tell the truth. I always tell the truth.
Yes. And that is the way to beat the seers. Tell them the truth they want to hear, but that means not being taken off guard or surprised. So I wanted to let you know. I'm not going to ask you if... I'm not going to do what the seers do. You and I have always been in the present and at face value. But I thought you should be prepared.
And her sort of worried face relaxes a little, and it's back to Aggie's normal face. And she reaches over and squeezes your hand lightly. She says, "I know you're worried, and I know you care, and I appreciate it. I will go in and tell the truth. Because I can't hide anything, because I don't know anything. So please, don't tell me anything."
That was always the plan.
I have no information for them other that I have seen these shadow things. That's it.
You said you were followed one night. But paid no attention.
I'm fine, and I've not seen them again.
I think we should check in on each other, perhaps more often than normal.
I think that's a good idea.
I think we all should. Until make sure Averick hears.
Yeah, Averick is like got a mouthful like, And maybe your other friends as well.
If I could get in touch with them, but I figure we'll probably all see each other at this announcement. I'm worried if they're asking questions about 8 years ago and the same inquiries about these shadows and trams falling, will find their way to my shop, my doorstep soon. In fact, I'm worried they were just waiting to get all their ducks in a row before coming for me.
Well, let's not let them get you then.
Well, like you, there's nothing I can do but tell the truth. I've told the truth before. I can do it again.
And she nods. And be prepared. That's what Tom used to always say.
And be prepared.
And you spend the rest of the time sort of more enjoying each other's company rather than anything else before this announcement. But when it comes time, you see Aggie walk over to that set of coat racks, again with some of Tom's old hats and some of his coats. And you see her slide on like this little anorak that she has, this little raincoat, and she's put on a slightly warmer jumper. But she does take one of the hats off of the rack, one of Tom's, and puts it on. And you've never seen her wear one before. And you see her sort of look in the mirror that's put there purposefully for her eye level. So if you tried to look at it, you'd have to bend down slightly. Yep. She straightens it, and it looks like it's taking a lot for her to put this hat on. As you see her chest sort of heave up and go.
Tolan just gently lays his hand on her back, on her shoulder, just gently just lays it there so she can have a moment, but also know that he's there.
And she smiles and rests a hand on yours very briefly before turning. Oh, then. And she sort of marches out the door. So much so you have to keep up.
Yep. Come on, Averick.
And he's like, yep. And he's putting down like the third plate of biscuits.
I think Tolan does a very similar sort of thing on the center of Averick's back, as letting him go out. And Tolan, as always, before stepping outside, takes a moment to sort of gather himself, knowing that he's getting left behind, but kind of looks around the house almost nostalgically, wondering if he's going to see it again. Pulls the door shut and locks it with his key that he keeps.
And it clicks, and Jeremy and Jemima run to the window and press themselves against it as all three of you walk down towards the season tree.
Take care of her, boys. He's sort of leaves that with Jeremy and Jemima.
And they sit there and watch after you. And Charlie, you're up on this rooftop. But Paula and Nadie, how do you arrive at the announcement at the season tree? Is Matthias with you, Paula, or is your father with you, Nadie?
Papa will definitely be coming along.
Mm-hmm. He's sort of holding, he offers to hold your hand on the walk up. You get the feeling, because he's been away so often, he hasn't gone past the "my child is older than 6" sort of stage a lot of the time and falls back into habits. But he walks through, and you feel him relax a little bit as you arrive at the season tree. He hasn't even clocked the scene below. He's looking up at the season tree. It is good to be back in Karnan. It's nothing quite like Karnan.
Well, it's home.
It is home. And he smiles. Let's go find a spot, shall we?
Yeah, okay.
And you sort of weave through. And how about Paula? How do you arrive?
Before leaving, Paula will probably try to gather both Matthias and Noah, if possible. She can find him.
Noah, you can see. Matthias is he didn't end up leaving the library in the end. You definitely heard a tiny bit of snoring from up in the chair at one point. And then you heard him being woken up by, Noah, who was wondering why he was in the comfy chair that he normally naps in during the afternoon when he is supposed to be in class. And they both walk downstairs to meet you.
Hello, boys. Noah, you must be excited that you get to get out of class early today.
He's like, yeah, I really am, even if it is for a stuffy old announcement.
This must be the first time you two are seeing each other since...
Oh, no, I found him underneath the season tree. And he's
right.
He said thank you. He was pretty good about it.
Nice. Okay, so we're all acquainted. Good. Well, we have to make our way, otherwise we'll miss the big announcement. I'm kind of excited. They said it's good news, so
I mean,
hopefully.
Maybe excited, I don't know. We don't really know what's happening.
Well, if they said good news, I'm going to assume, or maybe I shouldn't make assumptions, but I'm thinking they probably got rid of the shadow people that have been pestering us. So that
can only be good, right?
That's what I'm thinking.
Okay, well, hopefully they've solved it and they're telling us who did it.
Exactly, that'd be great. That's what I want to hear.
Okay.
Well, we should be off, and Paula will lead them out of the university.
And you can lead them out. And you head towards the season tree. And Tolan, how do you arrive at the season tree? You've got Aggie almost marching in front of you. She's not that talkative at the moment. She's got Tom's hat on, and you can feel her every now and again just touching the top of it, straightening it out, touching the top of it, just fiddling with it. It's too big for her head, but she's wearing it. What does Tolan do when he sees, in fact, all of you see, even if you're not all together, you see these huge flags, these huge banners. There's gold and this red and this sort of bellowing in this autumn breeze with this rising sun.
Have I ever seen banners and such like this hung directly on the tree? Or is it normally, I mean, I know at the night market there are lights and things like that, but most of them are very magical in nature. I assume these are more mundane.
You've seen this before, but you have seen it more for, so you've seen it when, let's have a think, when Edric Amal was first sort of enrolled in the church. It was a big announcement. You've seen it, there's a festival sort of every year almost run by the church about Over the Sun and how it links to the season tree, and that's when they hang the banners, but it's not that time of year yet.
Right. And I see Aggie fiddling with the hat. I think Tolan is curious but dismisses it. Again, same idea as there's things he's not telling Aggie for seer reasons. He feels that Aggie is wanting some extra support. Does this have a bear insignia on it anywhere? Like mine does?
Not
like my hat
on
does?
This hat.
Okay.
Not visibly to you.
So in that case, he's going to think it's almost just like a comfort blanket type idea. I think he'll mention it's not the right season for the celebration. Have you seen them? I mean, when I was just a boy, I can remember coming and seeing Edric Amal.
Oh, I do remember that. And she sort of smiles briefly.
We would have heard about someone rising to the ranks of the academy, though, wouldn't we? That was...
Who knows now? People don't communicate as well as I did when I was younger.
But that was news for a month. After his graduation and where there's his decision. It's like all the papers. I can remember everyone was waiting with bated breath of where he would choose to align himself.
And she pauses and looks at you. If they don't want us to know something in advance, then we won't.
I know, but I'm nervous.
I am too.
Nervous and feeling unprepared.
I'm nervous too, Tolan. I don't get nervous. But it's okay. Because people are here with me. And she sort of taps the hat briefly as well.
I think he again sort of puts his hand sort of just, again, sort of guiding her through this crowd since she is so small, and making sure that she doesn't get bumped or jostled too much.
Yeah, you can work your way sort of into the crowd. And Nadie...
Tolan is going to try to position them somewhere where they have view, but where there might be sort of, because of an alley or a way, a wall or fences, that people aren't standing. So there's a bit of a clear space if he needs to grab Aggie and run.
You can stand very much in the line of sight of, not the direction of broom bindings, like you can stand almost at the back of the crowd.
Right.
You can stand there, and then you can see that that road is a straight line down to broom bindings, and it's not really packed because people are moving
right and
towards the stage.
Yeah, it's you would have the way the buildings are lined up. You can't. It's not a direct line of sight.
Yeah, it's not a direct line of sight, but you know that direction.
Yeah.
And you also know if you go to the street next along of that, you can get in to the basement.
Okay. Yeah.
Where you came out. And Nadie, your father sort of shuffles you forward. Are you looking for anyone you know, or are you?
I'd probably be keeping an eye out for Charlie or Paula or even Tolan at this point, just wondering where they are in all of this oddity.
Okay, roll an intellect check for me. Yes.
Okay.
Okay. You can see, if anything, you can see Tolan, and you can see Aggie and Averick. You more see Clyde first, as you see people sort of poof out the way as he just strides through. And you see that little group move in that direction. You don't see Paula just yet, and you definitely don't see Charlie.
Okay. So I'd probably try and at least could I make eye contact with Tolan maybe? Or are they back turned?
I don't know, Tolan, which way would you be facing? You're muted.
Tolan is probably scouting around. He is uncomfortable in crowds at the best of cases. Aggie saying that she's nervous has him very much even more on edge. Whatever the church is up to has got him, ranked up to another level. And I think at this point, he's almost in a inward frantic looking for all possible threats and ways out. Whereas with this many stimuli, it might be too much. I'm gonna roll just to see whether he would, whether she would just, not be seen or be seen. The only thing, Nadi's dad is big, yeah?
Big and imposing. Very, very strange, tall, dark man.
Here's the thing. I bet he would spot their dad. The question is, I'm going to still roll to see whether he would see her. 19. I think that's how he catches her. He sees this very large, imposing man.
He's very broad. He's very dark hair. And he looks very, very tanned. Like he's been in the sun for a very long time and very weathered looking.
So I think that's what catches his eye. That is a seeker build. Certainly a seaman as well, but very much many seekers that he have known would have that weathered look, broad build. And so I think he spots them, perhaps even at first thinking an ally. And then when he sees at his side, Nadi, in fact, finds one. Here's a question, and you don't have to answer it. You can answer it however you want to answer. Is there like a family resemblance between Nadi and her father, or would it not be obvious that they are related?
It's more the coloring. Like the hair coloring is very dark. Nadi is very, very blonde, but you can see that this is his daughter.
Bone structure and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think then he definitely would, if he can catch Nadi's eye, give her a nod and probably dart with his eyes this street as though it's a way out in case. It would not be hard for Nadi to pick up with the connection that she has with Tolan, that he is barely holding it together to be here and not just grabbing Averick and Aggie and running if he could.
She'd look back at him and kind of like knock her head and then point to her ears, and she actually has her earbuds in.
Yeah.
And
I'll give her some with that. Just, that's good.
Polly, you're going to arrive at the season tree and you see this huge group of people, and you can see just so much crowding, lots of Inarquays everywhere, lots of just people in general. You see a lot of kids from the academy here. You see some of the teachers. You see a lot of people you recognize. You probably spot Nadi's father again first before you spot Nadi. But Noah is sort of looking at you. He's like, I can see a spot over there, but why is everyone so damn tall? I can't see anything. Is he sort of like almost jumping back at the sides?
You can get on my shoulders if you want, Noah. I'm pretty strong.
Both him and Matthias look at you like, what? You want me on your shoulders?
I mean, I dance every day, so.
Well, I mean, we could try it. Like, and he sort of looks over. Matthias is looking at both of you, just like, why don't we just find a better spot? I mean, if you want to, that's fine.
We all need to loosen up. This is good. This is exciting. They're going to tell us they have good news for us.
Okay, Noah, do I have to give you a bump up? And he's like, Noah's just like, yeah, if you could. And he sort of like, he looks over to Paula. Like, are you sure this is all right, miss?
It's absolutely fine. This is fun.
Okay, and I need you to roll a might for me, please, Paula. If you get in that 20.
Let's see. Can I use anything for this? This balance?
Yeah, I'd say you could use balance.
Well, actually, that's a speed skill. Does that mean okay? No.
If it's in your skills, regardless, I'll lower the difficulty because
okay.
You have balance.
Cool. All right. There we go.
Yeah, you managed to pick him up. Describe it for me. How do you pick up Noah?
She crouches down, and once he lands, like it takes her a second to like find the balance, and there's a little bit of this happening where
you get like Noah's hands over your face like this as he tries to like grip on.
Yeah.
But you can steady yourself.
Yeah, eventually she'll like find the balance, and she's using less of like her muscles to hold him up, but more just like keeping this center of balance.
Matthias is mainly watching the whole sort of thing, just like pretty good. Like, sort of watching all of this as you hear the sounds of silence go over this group of
can I very quickly hand my phone to Noah and ask him to text my mom.
And he's like, yep. Yep. And it's sort of like leaning down and starting to text.
Just to see if she's there.
And Charlie, as you two hear this crowd sort of settle, you look up and you see Tuva has spotted you. Even though you don't look like yourself, she's like, not like looking very excited to see you. Doesn't look like there's any reason other than that she's clocked it's you. And
I've like backed up into like one of those, you know, like where the roof and like a little kind of window thing will peek out, so she's just got her back to like that flat part.
Yeah.
And it's kind of shielded from this chill breeze that's like up there, so
yeah, you see, like I said, you see Tuva waving at you as this hush descends over this crowd as a deacon, not Deacon Marks, starts to walk onto this platform, and he is in the religious robes, the ones you will recognize, and he walks up, and you see those flags sort of bellowing in the wind, and he looks around and is very much, thank you all for coming. It is of great importance that you are here today. We know many of you have been concerned over the dropping trams and these shadows that have been interfering with our lives and our beautiful city. And we, the church, have heard your cries and your calls, and we want to help you. We want to help our city. And we have a solution. We have a solution to the problem. We have interviewed many, and we wish for you, and he sort of gestures, the people of Karnan, to meet the individual who will lead us to peace and safety. Our new Archdeacon, please step forward. And you see new Archdeacon Marks step up onto this platform. He has a very straight face, and he bows to his once equal companion, his once equal deacon. And he stands in a flurry of red and gold, very much like the flags. And he looks out. Karnan has seen so much terror. We suffered the blight. We suffered murderers. And now we have suffered enough of these shadow beings. And I have a solution. And I am very proud to take this new position as Archdeacon and put these things into effect to assure the people are all safe. And whilst this is happening, Tolan, you can feel Aggie shifting. She seems to be sort of straightening up, sort of almost like tensing at the same time and straightening up again, like she's trying to compose herself. And Nadie, you can see your father looking very confused at this. Sort of whispers to you, like, who is that? It's like sort of, they've been away too long, it seems.
He's not exactly good man, Papa.
No. It doesn't look it. And Paula, you can feel Matthias move next to you, looking up at his brother, going, what are you doing? Like he's sort of mumbling under his breath. You can hear him. Like,
you must be so proud.
And he looks very concerned, but looks over to you. Archdeacon is a high position. A high position for someone who hates magic so much. And Noah is actually filming on your phone now.
Yeah, I guess I didn't think of it that way.
And you can see Matthias sort of straighten up awkwardly. You can see his fist sort of like flexing, almost like out of like he doesn't know what to do with himself. You can see Sophia sort of clinging to his shoulder and down his arm. And Tolan, you see Averick looking more confused than anything. Just like, I knew they were going to make an announcement, but what is this?
It's not going to be good. Whatever plan he has is going to serve him more than Karnan, and certainly be not a blessing.
And you feel Aggie move in front of you. I would like to go now.
I think we should. And he grabs Aggie's hand, and he actually grabs Averick's hand.
Mm-hmm. And then, like, Averick's like, but he doesn't stop you.
We need to get out of here. I need to get out of here. We all need to get out of here.
We're going now. And she sort of, that was more said to Averick than anything. And she has gone solid. That normal cheery Aggie, that normal happy sort of clappy feel, that is gone. That is not here. She's like, we need to leave right now. And you can start dragging them away.
Yeah, we'll go down that street straight towards Brew and Bindings.
Mm-hmm.
Watching on the way if I need to go down the back street to go in through the cellar.
Yeah. And you head off in that direction. And Charlie, up from this rooftop, you've witnessed the beginning of this speech. You see Tuva sort of now sitting upright rather than laying down out of curiosity of what on earth is being said. She looks more confused, but you suspect she doesn't understand exactly what's happening anyway. And you hear the Archdeacon Marks take another step forward, arms outright. These are my propositions. And off to your left, Charlie, you see a huge black cat in archway shifting past the crowd and back down an alleyway, and that top of blonde hair. And that's where we'll leave Doors of Dunera tonight for the finale next week. Is it real?
What the hell, Alice?
I love you, but damn you. Oh my god.
We're cutting there?
Sorry?
We're cutting there?
That's so disrespectful.
I know, but you'll still come back, so it's fine.
And we let you do this to us, and we finally let you do this to us. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god.
I wait a week.
It's the penultimate.
So
It's there.
So Siren was in the crowd or like going up towards the stage?
No, he was in the crowd walking down an alleyway away.
Okay, so he was pulling a Tolan and Aggie getting out of Dodge. Okay.
Hey, babe.
So, everyone, we do a rerun of this on a Friday. We would love for you to go on, and we would love to see you all in chat. We a lot of the cast try and get in there and chat at the same time when we do. Also, we would love to hear your thoughts, conspiracy theories. Apparently, that's the thing now. And what your favorite bits were in the Discord. Otherwise, please check out all the links that are coming up in chat now. It's where you can find us. It's how you can support us. Thank you for throwing those new emotes in, and I freaking love them. So next week it is the finale, and I want to say a huge thank you to our wonderful sponsors in the form of Bird in the Storm and also Mage Hand Press. But until then, keep evoking emotions, and we will see you then. Bye.